Welcome back, my friends. Scrolling Sword. We are getting close to the end of the book of Luke, and I hope you're getting excited because we've already went through a couple gospels already, and you're seeing stories retold in a different lens. And today we read Luke 19 through 21. We see Jesus enter as the triumphant king of Israel. They shouted, "Hosanna, Hosanna," and we see him confronting false worship and really spiritual blindness. And we look through teachings on stewardship and on judgment and on watchfulness and endurance. And if you got questions about any of those things, go to the discussion room right now and ask those questions. But today I want to focus on a gangster scene in the Bible. I want to focus on the cleansing of the temple and what it reveals about real worship, true worship. We see Jesus enter the temple, and he drives out those who were selling. And honestly, it's like, don't sell t-shirts in the lobby. Don't sell coffee at a coffee shop. Don't you dare sell anything in the sanctuary at all. That's not what Jesus was fighting against. Like, oh my goodness gracious. He wasn't fighting against programs or ministries that are trying to better the kingdom. He was fighting against and confronting a system that turned worship into exploitation for human gain. People were selling animals for sacrifice at such a price that people could not afford it. And they were extorting the system that God put in place for worship and sacrifice. And it was impossible for people to they were gatekeeping sacrifice and worship. Literally in the outer gates, the outer courts, like the only place that Gentiles could pray, had become a marketplace filled with exchange tables and sacrificial commerce, being gatekeepers to worship. And these pilgrims during this time, hundreds of thousands of Jews would migrate and do a journey back to the promised land. Pilgrims needed approved animals and temple currency, creating a system really vulnerable to inflated rates and financial abuse. They were ripping these people off. And Jesus, by clearing the court, Jesus restores space for prayer and exposes how religious systems can obstruct access to God. We have to be so careful in our churches that what we create actually does not obstruct access to the God we claim to worship. And Jesus declared himself, "My house shall be a house of prayer." And this is echoing Isaiah's vision of a temple open to all nations. And he adds Jeremiah's warning that it has become a den of thieves, a den of robbers, invoking prophetic judgment against corrupted worship. And then Dr. Luke, such a wordsmith, uses a verb here for cast out. And it's a term that is used for exorcisms, suggesting that the temple required a spiritual cleansing, not just a mere reform. Like, it's time that I lay my hands on this temple where the demonic realm has set up shop in the name of religion, and I am casting y'all out in my name. Be gone with a whip. And his actions, they actually fulfill Malachi's vision of the Lord coming to purify worship, like showing both restoration and the coming judgment at the same time. Just like a hospital designed to heal that becomes dominated by billing systems and gatekeeping procedures, in sacred spaces can drift from their healing purpose until reform becomes necessary. Sometimes pastors have to go into churches and look at programs, albeit they might be nice and okay and fine, but they actually might be blocking the right form of worship, and they have to be removed. That's what reformers do. Just like somebody who might buy a business and they go in and they clean up shop and they clear the court. Sometimes that absolutely needs to be done. Ultimately, worship can be distorted when systems replace like sincere devotion. Like, really, like for real, God desires prayerful access for all people, no barriers into his presence. You ain't got to take 3 courses. You ain't got to take growth track. You ain't got to take a spiritual gifts test. You don't have to do any of this stuff to have communion with God's presence. And Jesus, he confronts corruption to restore true encounter with God. And spiritual clarity requires removing anything that crowds out authentic worship. So move it out, clear it out. Love you. I'll see you on the discussion room.